Hey there, Bruins fans! I'm disappointed in you, John. You go to the Toronto Maple Leafs. I get it, it's your hometown, but I thought for sure you were going to go back to the pit of misery that is the New York Islanders. But if you'd prefer to lose in the first round with the Maple Leafs, it's fine. Moving on. Yes, the Boston Bruins lose out on the John Tavares sweepstakes. I'm going to do a video tomorrow about the signings from around the league, so make sure you tune in for that one. And you'll hear some of my thoughts on the John Tavares signing and why it's good for the Bruins, why it's bad for the Bruins, and everything in between. But today I want to talk about some of the players leaving the Bruins and some of the players joining the Bruins. Let's start with some old friends we have to say goodbye to. Okay, I'm going to talk about this list in order of that montage. If you want to go back and you're like, I have no idea who that is and I feel like I really don't care if they leave, maybe seeing a picture will help you out. Nick Holden, to start, is going to go to the Vegas Golden Knights for 2 years on a $2.2 million contract. Not a huge loss. We traded for him at the deadline. We only gave up a third-round pick, and we got that third-round pick back in the Frank Vatrano trade. I'm not crying over Nick Holden, but Austin Czarnik walking away to the Calgary Flames for 2 years for $1.25 million. I don't like that one. He's had a lot of really good seasons in Providence, and I don't think the Bruins gave him a good enough chance in the big club. Tim Schaller, he's a local guy, and you get to see the Timmy heads everywhere. I'm definitely going to miss that, but 2 years with the Vancouver Canucks for $1.9 million, way too much. See ya. Kenny Agostino joins the dark side when he goes to the Montreal Canadiens on a 1-year deal. They're just trying him out everywhere. He can only score in the AHL, though, so not really a big loss. Tommy Cross, the captain of the Providence Bruins, is going to the Columbus Blue Jackets on a 1-year deal. He will definitely be missed down in Providence. He's never really going to make it up here in the big club. They've tried him a couple times, but he had a really good leadership role down there and helped out our young prospects. Joining Tommy Cross in Columbus will be Riley Nash. He signs a 3-year deal for $2.75 million. He is the biggest loss, in my opinion, to the Boston Bruins. He played third-line center, but a lot of times when Patrice Bergeron was out, he would slide up to the number 1. He played a really big role in the penalty kill. Every now and then he would even see some power play time. He had a really good year. I'm not surprised that he went out and got paid. I don't think the Bruins can afford that kind of contract for him. Maybe they could have. Maybe the term's a little long, and I think we would rather see some of our younger kids go up and play in the third-line role. But he will definitely be missed. And lastly, Anton Khudobin signs a 2-year deal for $2.5 million with the Dallas Stars. A lot of people were freaking out about this one, and I really don't get it. Yes, he had a fantastic season. I'm not taking that away from him. He played really well, and it's a huge reason why Boston even made the playoffs when Tuukka Rask decided to take a 2-month nap. But, you know, he's really not an all-star goaltender. He's not a starting goalie. He's not the best backup in the league even. So, you know, if you're going to pay 2.5, you want the same season from last year, and I just don't know if you'll get that again from Anton Khudobin. We'll see. Now let's take the time to welcome the boys to Boston. Chris Wagner signs a 2-year, $1.25 million deal. That's your Tim Schaller replacement. He's really fast and is always up there in the league in hits, and we know how much we love big hits in Boston, so he's going to be a solid player. And every now and then he chips in a couple goals. Mark McNeil signs a 1-year deal. He's your huge downgrade from Austin Czarnik down in Providence. Joakim Nordstrom is going to be a 4th-line center for us. Maybe the Riley Nash replacement? I just don't think he's good enough. His stats are not there, but he signs a 2-year deal for $1 million. That's a really team-friendly contract. Oh, and he's a Stanley Cup champion. Axel Anderson was a 2nd-round pick in this year's draft. He signs his entry-level contract. And the big one, John Moore, a 5-year deal making $2.75 million a year. For those of you freaking out about this deal, first off, you're crazy. I love this deal. Let's just talk about the money. 2.75 is exactly what Adam McQuaid makes right now. John Moore plays over 20 minutes a game. He's a top left shot defenseman. He scored 7 goals as a D. He's called Mr. Overtime. When you can have anyone who's called Mr. Overtime, it's a good thing. We've said it for years. The Bruins need defense. The Bruins need defense. The Bruins need defense. Here he is. Don't complain about him. He's going to be a really nice piece, and at 2.75 for 5 years, that's a perfect term because he's going to be 32 at the end, and it's perfect money. You're going to get a lot more production than what 2.75 normally gets you out of John Moore. He can go with McAvoy. Chara can go with Carlo. That's a nice top 4. And who knows, maybe we'll add to it. And the final signing is Yaroslav Halak for 2 years for $2.75 million. To answer your question, yes, that's more money than Anton Khudobin is making, but Yaroslav Halak is a starting goaltender. He's played over 40 games 6 times in his career. He's a starter. He started last year. His numbers weren't fantastic, but his numbers as a whole are pretty good. He's going to be our backup, though, and you've never really seen him as a full-on backup. And the Islanders have struggled a lot defensively. Boston has a much better D-core. We have a much better penalty kill. We have a great power play, so we're going to put up some points. So if he lets a bad one in, he's still going to get the W because we're going to put up the offensive numbers. Love the Halak signing. I think it's a good term. He's going to be 35 at the end of it. That's the perfect time to let him go. I think he's going to be a solid backup to Tuukka. That's all I got for you today. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. And if you're a regular on the channel, make sure to share with your friends and give this video a big like.